morning. How are you guys? Yesterday class. Hmm? How are you guys? Yesterday class. The first battle of the terrain fought between Prithviraj and Muhammad Ghori. In which year? In which year? 1191. What is the outcome? Prithviraj Chauhan was won. Okay. Later, the second battle of the terrain. Muhammad Ghori and Prithviraj Chauhan, 1192. What was the outcome? Muhammad Ghori captured and executed the Prithviraj Chauhan. Ultimately, he captured the Delhi and Agra. Ibadat Khana discussion organized by whom? Akbar. Okay, where it is located? Ibadat Khana. Where it is located? Ibadat Khana. Where it is located? At Fatehpur Sikri. Okay. Who introduced? Who was the finance minister? Okay, behind the introduction of Dahshala system. Dahshala system introduced by whom? Dahshala system or Zapti system? Two? No. You people didn't revise it. See, after class, it will take half an hour to revise the entire thing. But you people, who introduced the Dahshala system or Zapti system? Akbar. Okay, along with who was the finance minister during that time? Who was the finance minister during that time? Raja Todarmal. What was the provision of the Dahshala system or Zapti system? Who wrote Shah Jahan Nama? So that is Akbar Nama. Shah Jahan Nama was written by or authored by Inayat Khan. Who established the Humayun's tomb? Humayun's tomb. What is the assignment yesterday? Assignment ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ? Different tombs. Then that only. Okay. How you did your assignment? Quick back. Humayun's tomb established by or founded by Haji Begum or Bega Begum. Okay. So next, the first battle of the Panipat was fought between Babar and in which year? 1526. The agricultural loan called Thakkavi was introduced by whom? The agricultural loan called Thakkavi was introduced by whom? Who introduced the agricultural loan? known as Thakkavi. Madam, who introduced the agricultural law? The Thakkavi. Thakkavi means what? Agricultural law was introduced by which sultan? Who transferred the capital from Delhi to Devgiri? Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Not a Tughlaq, Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Okay. So, Muhammad bin Tughlaq was the person who introduced the agricultural loan called Thakkavi. And he increased the land revenue over the Doab region. Okay. What are the works or the books of the Krishna Devaraya? Works or books of the Krishna Devaraya? Krishna Devaraya belongs to which dynasty? Which family? Tuluva. Okay. The books or the works of the Krishna Devaraya? I'm not asking you titles, I'm asking you the works. Jambavati Kalyana, written in which language? Okay, then Parinayam, written in Sanskrit, then Amukta Malyada in Telugu. Okay, the Battle of the Talikota was fought between not a Krishna Devaraya, Talikota, or the Battle of the Rakkasatangadi. Vijayanagara Empire and the Bahmani Kingdom. And during that time, the king of the Vijayanagara Empire was Aliya Ramaraya. Who assisted Vasco da Gama? Okay. Who assisted Vasco da Gama in the eve of the discovery of new trade route towards India? Abdul Majid. In which year Vasco da Gama arrived to India? 1498. Who patronized the Vasco da Gama? Zamorin king in Calicut. Okay. Which two British officials visited to Jahangir court? William Hawkins and the Thomas Roy. Later they set up a factory at the Surat. Clear? Okay. So then who introduced the policy of mixed marriage? Policy of mixed marriage. Or which Portuguese governor made Goa as their main administrative center? Alfonso de Albuquerque. Okay. So now, yesterday map save ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? One second. Okay. Now, now this was the situation, okay, in India, okay, before the arrival of the Britishers. Now, after the decline of the Mughal Empire, the regional kings, they declared independence, especially in Bengal, in Awadh, in Hyderabad. Awadh is here. Okay. One second. Here, Awadh. Awadh. Okay. So, Bengal. In Bengal, who declared independence? Murshid Quli Khan. Later, his son Alwardi Khan became a Nawab of the Bengal. But he didn't have any male successor, hence okay, hence his grandson, okay, Sirajuddaulah became a Nawab of the Bengal. Okay, during the time of Murshid Quli Khan as well as the Alwardi Khan, British, they are doing the free trade agreements, okay, without any duty, without any taxes, okay. And these Nawab of the Bengal, they granted dastaks to the Britishers. What is the meaning of dastaks? Dastaks means duty free license, trade license without any taxes, kind of a license. ಯಾವುದೇ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿಯನ್ನ ಯಾವುದೇ ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪೇ ಮಾಡ್ದಂಗೆ ಫ್ರೀ ಆಗಿ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡೋದು. Hope you got it. So now Sirajuddaulah became a Nawab of the Bengal. Now Britishers, they are misusing the dastak which was granted by the Nawab of the Bengal. They are misusing the dastaks which was granted by the Nawab of Bengal, and now they are decided to fortify their trading centers. Okay, one is Britishers. They started to misuse their dastaks, and they started to fortify their trading centers without permission of Nawab of Bengal. Okay, imagine Hooghly. Imagine best example Hooghly, Calcutta. Okay, the main trading centers of the Britishers. Okay, now they are started to fortify these trading centers. Fortify these trading centers without permission of the Sirajuddaulah, because he was the Nawab of the Bengal. Now Sirajuddaulah, he warned Britishers. Okay, he warned to Britishers, don't misuse the dastaks and stop your fortification, the process of the fortification. But Britishers, they disobeyed the order of the Sirajuddaulah. Hence, Sirajuddaulah rebelled against the Britishers and he captured the Calcutta fort. He captured the Calcutta fort. Previously, Calcutta fort comes under the control of the whom? Britishers. Now, Sirajuddaulah captured the Calcutta fort and he arrested the 146 British officials. He arrested 146 British officials and he put all these British officials in a small room. In a small room. Okay, so in small room, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ರೂಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕೂಡ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, so lack of the oxygen, lack of the breathing, all out of 146, 123 British officials were died. Okay, 123 British officials were died, and this incident were known as a black hole tragedy. This incident was known as a black hole tragedy. Okay, what is the black hole tragedy? The Sirajuddaulah arrested the 146 British officials and he put all these British officials in a small room. Okay, due to lack of oxygen, due to lack of breathing, the out of 146, 123 British officials were died. Okay, so ultimately this is known as a black hole tragedy. After this incident, British, they declared a war against the Sirajuddaulah. British, they declared a war against the Sirajuddaulah. Clear? Now, listen here. British now declared a war against the Sirajuddaulah. So now there was an army commander called Mir Jafar. There was an army commander called Mir Jafar. He was an army commander under the Sirajuddaulah. He was a army commander under the Sirajuddaulah. Now British, they want to suppress the Sirajuddaulah. They want to defeat the Sirajuddaulah. But Sirajuddaulah was a very powerful Nawab during that time. Sirajuddaulah was a very powerful Nawab. Hence, they made a conspiracy against the Sirajuddaulah. Hence, they invited Mir Jafar. Who was the Mir Jafar? Army commander in under the Sirajuddaulah. They invited Mir Jafar. Okay, if you help, okay, we will provide you something. We will gift you something. Okay, so that's why the Mir Jafar, he betrayed Sirajuddaulah and he supported the Britishers. Okay, and in this battle, the Sirajuddaulah was defeated and captured by the Britishers and executed by the Britishers. Okay, and this famous battle is known as the Battle of Plassey. Battle of Plassey, 1757. And this battle is known as a turning point in the entire Indian history. Turning point in the entire Indian history. Clear? The Battle of the Plassey. The Battle of Plassey was fought between Sirajuddaulah and the Britishers. Who won? Britishers. Okay, who betrayed Mir Jafar. Now the position of the Nawab of Bengal was vacant. Okay, the Nawab position became a vacant. So that's why the British made Mir Jafar the Nawab of the Bengal because he helped them. ಇವರಿಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ನಲ್ವಾ, ಅವ್ರು ಮೊದಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಓಕೆ ನೀವು ನಮಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಅನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಏನೋ ಗಿಫ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ. ನಾವು ದೇ ಮೇಡ್ Mir Jafar as a Nawab of the Bengal and Mir Jafar became a puppet under the British government. Okay, and after Mir Jafar became a Nawab of the Bengal, he granted 24 parganas to the Britishers. He granted 24 parganas to the Britishers because now he became a puppet. Of the Britishers. Okay, so that's why Mir Jafar granted 24 parganas to the Britishers. What is the parganas? Means districts. Parganas means what? Districts. Okay, now after this Battle of the Plassey, now Britishers, they are started to interfere in the administrative matters of the Bengal. Now they have started to interfere in the administrative matters of the Bengal. Hope you got it? But this Mir Jafar, he did not able to meet the demands of the Britishers. He did not able to meet the demands of the Britishers. Hence, British, they dethroned the Mir Jafar because he did not able to fulfill the demands of the Britishers. They want revenue, they want wealth from the Bengal, but this person was failed to meet the demands of the Britishers. Okay, hence they dethroned the Mir Jafar and his nephew Mir Qasim. They made his nephew Mir Qasim as a Bengal of the Nawab. They want a puppet. But Mir Jafar, he was very inefficient ruler. He was very inefficient Nawab. Hence, the British, they dethroned the Mir Jafar and made Mir Qasim as the new Nawab of the Bengal. Now, listen here. Now, Mir Qasim was a great ruler and was an efficient Nawab. Okay, he did lot of reforms in administrative matters, in revenue matters, even though he is appointed by the Britishers. Okay, he did lot of reforms in Bengal and he warned the Britishers. Okay, so don't misuse the dusters, pay the land revenue, pay the regular taxes to the Bengal government. Okay, hope you got it. Now British was shocked. We made him as a Nawab of the Bengal. Now he is warning us. Okay, now ಇವನನ್ನ Nawab of Bengal ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಲ್ವಾ, ಈಗ ಇವ್ ನಮಗೆ ವಾರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಯಾರು? Mir Qasim. Yes or not? He was a very efficient ruler. Hence, now British, they decided to remove the Mir Qasim. But Mir Qasim, Okay, he declared a war against the Britishers. He declared a war against the British. Now British. Okay, they prepared for a war. But Mir Qasim invited other two peoples in this war. Okay, these person, one is Suja ud Dawla. Suja ud Dawla, the Nawab of the Awadh, the Nawab of the here. Suja ud Dawla, the Nawab of the Awadh. He invited Suja ud Dawla and the later Mughal ruler Shah Alam. Shah Alam. Shah Alam II. Okay. Now, in this versus British. Versus British. Now, there was an alliance. Okay. Sujauddaulah, Mir Qasim, and Shah Alam, and versus Britishers. Okay. But in this battle, British they successfully resisted Sujauddaulah and Shah Alam II. They successfully resisted Sujauddaulah and Shah Alam II. Now, Mir Qasim were isolated. Mir Qasim was isolated by the Britishers. Okay, and this famous battle is known as a Battle of Buxar. Battle of Buxar, 1764. The Battle of the Buxar. The Battle of the Buxar was fought between Mir Qasim, Sujauddaulah, Shah Alam II versus Britishers. Who won? What was the outcome? British. Okay. Now, in this battle, what is the course of this battle? So, in this battle, British they successfully defeated or resisted the Sujauddaulah as well as the Shah Alam II, and they isolated the Mir Qasim. Ultimately, Mir Qasim became a weak, and they captured Mir Qasim and they executed the Mir Qasim. Okay. Again, the position of the Nawab of Bengal became a vacant. But there was no option for the Britishers, hence they made again Mir Jafar as a Nawab of the Bengal. They made Mir Jafar as a Nawab of the Bengal. Previously he was also a Nawab of the Bengal, but they thrown at him. Now they made again him as a Nawab of the Bengal. Clear? This is what known as a Battle of the Buxar. Now, after this Battle of the Buxar, now British they made a treaty with Sujauddaulah and Shah Alam II, and this treaty famously known as the Treaty of Allahabad. Treaty of Allahabad, 1765, and according to this treaty, Shah Alam II granted Diwani rights to the Britishers over Bengal, Bihar, and Odisha region. Okay, Diwani rights. Okay, according to this treaty, the Mughal ruler Shah Alam II he granted Diwani rights to the Britishers over three provinces: Bengal, Bihar, and Odisha. Okay, what is the Diwani rights means? Financial rights, duty-free trade. Hope you got it. Commercial rights. Okay. Now, see, listen here. Bihar and Bengal, Odisha. They can ask you who granted the Diwani rights to the Britishers. That is Shah Alam II. Clear? According to Treaty of Allahabad. Now Bengal completely comes under the control of whom? Britishers. Now, not only Bengal, Bihar, Odisha region also comes under the control of Britishers because of the Diwani rights. Okay. Now, there was a person called Robert Clive. Robert Clive. Okay. After the Battle of Buxar, this person introduced a dual government in Bengal region. Dual government in Bengal region, and this dual government consisted two branches. One is Governor General, another one is one second. One is company rule, another one is Nawab rule. Previously, there was a only Nawab rule was there in Bengal. Yes or not? Now, after the Battle of Buxar, they introduced company rule also. Okay, under the company rule, okay, Nizamat and Diwani powers, Nizamat and Diwani matters comes under the company rule. What is the Diwani? Commercial activities. What is the Nizamat? Law and order, police, judicial administration. These matters comes under the company rule. And what are the matters comes under the Nawab rule? Peace and order. Peace and order. Now, the Nawab of the Bengal completely became a puppet under the British government. Clear? So this is how they established their monopoly over the Bengal region. Okay. Now, from now onwards, they are trying to control the revenue matters. Okay, the judicial administration in the Bengal region. Clear? This is how they captured the Bengal. First, the Battle of the Plassey, 1757, between Sirajuddaulah and the Britishers. What was the outcome? British won. Then the Battle of the Buxar between Mir Qasim, Shah Alam and Sujauddaulah. There was an alliance as well as the Britishers. Okay, what was the outcome? British won. Then another outcome, the Treaty of the Allahabad. Okay, Shah Alam granted Diwani rights over Bengal, Bihar and Odisha region to the Britishers, and they made again Mir Jafar as a Nawab of the Bengal. Clear? So then they introduced the dual government in Bengal region. Hope you got it. One is company rule, another one is Nawab rule. Okay, company rules. Under the company rules, Nizamat and the Diwani matters comes under the company rule, and peace and order comes under the Nawab rule. Clear? Now, who was the Nawab after the Battle of Buxar? Mir Jafar. Okay, he became a puppet. This is how they captured Bengal. Meaning of? Imagine this is your city. Imagine this is a city. Okay, building a wall around your city. Okay, that is what the fortification means. Okay. Okay, done. Now Bengal done. They captured Bengal. Okay, listen here. This is done. Hope you got it. Is there any doubt? Now they captured the Bengal. Now, after capturing Bengal, they directly focused on South India, that is Mysuru provinces. They directly focused on southern part of the country, that is Mysuru provinces. Now they want to capture the Mysuru. Why Mysuru? Why Mysuru? Now Bengal is done. Now Bengal comes under their control. Now they are focusing towards Mysuru. Why Mysuru? Why Mysuru? Okay, then what is their objective? What was the objective of the British? Wealth, revenue. Okay, coastal area. Okay, it is near to here. There were French settlements. In Goa, there were Portuguese settlements. Okay, they want to control other Europeans in India, and very rich provinces, Krishna, Godavari, Kaveri Doab region. Yes or not? Okay, black soil, part of the Deccan Trap. Hope you got it. So these are the major reasons. Okay, so now they are focusing on Mysuru. But during that time, after the decline of the Vijayanagara Empire, okay, there was a system called Nayaka system. What is the Nayaka system in the Vijayanagara Empire? See, the Nayakas were appointed by the king, like Krishna Devaraya, Harihara, Bukkaraya. Okay, the Nayakas were appointed by the kings, and the responsibility of these Nayakas is to control the peripheral areas of the empire. Imagine this is a Vijayanagara Empire. This is a Hampi, the capital city of the Vijayanagara Empire. These are the peripheral areas. These are the peripheral areas. And the responsibility of these Nayakas is to control these bordering areas. To control bordering areas during the time of Vijayanagara Empire. But after the decline of Vijayanagara Empire, these bordering areas, they declared independence. They declared independence, such as the Nayakas of the Keladi, the Nada Prabhus of Elahanka, okay, the Vadayas of the Mysuru, the Nayakas of the Chitradurga, Madakari Nayaka. Have you heard the name? Okay, then Mysuru Vadayas, okay, Kempegowda, the Nada Prabhus of the Elahanka, okay, and Shivappa the Nayakas of the Keladi. These four provinces declared independence after the decline of Vijayanagara Empire. Now, Mysuru under the control of the Vadayas. Okay, so now, but ultimately, later, for some period, it was controlled by the two important personalities. One is Tipu Sultan, and another one is Hyder Ali. Okay, now in Mysuru, who was the major rulers? Tipu Sultan as well as the Hyder Ali. Clear? So there was a series of battle between Britishers and the Hyder Ali as well as the Tipu Sultan. There were series of battles. Okay, and these battles were known as a Anglo-Mysuru Wars. This battle known as a Anglo-Mysuru Wars. The wars between Hyder Ali, Tipu Sultan and Britishers. Okay, through these series of battles, they captured the Mysuru and they imposed subsidiary alliance over the Mysuru. They imposed, what is a subsidiary alliance? We'll tell you, don't worry. They imposed subsidiary alliance over the Mysuru. Clear? So this is of series Anglo-Mysuru Wars. Okay, I have given you here. Okay, just to go through it. What is the Anglo-Mysuru War? I think notes share madidara. Notes share madidara. Madidara hello. Madidara. Madidara madam. Nodadwa. Okay, now listen here. British conquest in Bengal, the Battle of the Plassey, Black Hole Tragedy, ilala ide, 24 Parganas. Okay, so then Battle of the Buxar. Okay, next Mysuru, Anglo-Mysuru. You'll already quoted it. Just go through it. Okay, don't worry too much conceptual clarity. Just focus on the facts. First Anglo-Mysuru War ended with the Treaty of the Madras. Then second Anglo-Mysuru War ended with the Treaty of the Mangalore. Then third Anglo-Mysuru War ended with the Treaty of the Srirangapatna. In fourth Anglo-Mysuru War, Tipu was dead and there was no treaty. Hence, they imposed subsidiary alliance in Mysuru. Now, Mysuru also comes under the control of Britishers. Clear? Hope you got it. So, this is what fourth Anglo-Mysuru War. Okay, first Anglo-Mysuru War ended with the Treaty of Madras. This is the first. And second Anglo-Mysuru War ended with the Treaty of Mangalore. Then third Anglo-Mysuru War ended with the Treaty of Srirangapatna. Okay. In fourth Anglo-Mysuru War, there was no treaty because Tipu was dead. Clear? So, Mysuru region. Why the Treaty of Madras? Why Treaty of the Mangalore? Because they captured the Madras. Who captured? Hyder Ali captured the Madras. Madras comes directly under the Britishers. Okay, important administrative centers. Okay, because of the regional importance. Okay, so that's why. This is what the Mysuru region. This is the entire Mysuru region. Previously, this was completely comes under the control of Hyder Ali. Okay, so now. Hmm. This is how they divided Mysuru after the death of Tipu Sultan. See, in fourth Anglo-Mysore War, Tipu Sultan was dead. Okay, and they divided Mysuru into 1 second. See, this part was granted to the Hyderabad, Nizam of Hyderabad. This part was granted to the Marathas. Okay, and these part were controlled by the Britishers, and this small part was granted to the Wadayar. Okay, this small part was granted. Previously, this was the entire Mysuru provinces. Now, Mysuru provinces restricted to this particular area. Clear? This is how they disintegrated the Mysuru. Now, now, Mysuru was also done. Mysuru was also done. Clear? Now they are focusing on. Now they are focusing on Marathas. Bengal, Mysuru, Maratha. Bengal, Mysuru, Maratha. Clear? Why Marathas? Same region, coastal area. Okay, coastal region, the part of the Deccan Trap, black soil. Okay, land revenue ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, see in the series of Anglo-Mysore wars, the Marathas they supported the Britishers. Marathas they supported Britishers. Why? Hmm? Why? Why they supported Britishers? Because future ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇವ್ರು ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಬರಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ. Hope you got it. So to protect themselves from the Britishers. But Britishers, after capturing Mysore, they directly moved towards the Marathas. Now Marathas were shocked, Britishers were rocked. Okay. ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರು, ಇವ್ರು ನಮ್ಮ ಸುದ್ದಿಗೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು ಆರಾಮಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. Now they attacked on the Marathas. And there was a series of battles between Marathas and the Britishers. And these battles were known as the Anglo-Maratha Wars. And these battles were known as the Anglo-Maratha Wars. Clear? Anglo-Maratha War. Okay. See, they can ask you the chronological order. That's why I have given you here. Or treaty ಯಾವ year ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನ್ ಆಯ್ತು, just to go through it. It's completely based on fact. No need to worry about the conceptual clarity here because it was too story was too much. Okay, ತುಂಬಾ story ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. Hope you got it. Okay, so don't worry about for your IB kind of exam. So that's it. Don't worry. First Anglo-Maratha War, second Anglo-Maratha War, third Anglo-Maratha War. Just go through it. Okay, what was the outcome and fought between whom? Okay, just go through it now. Maratha was also done. Bengal done, Mysore done, Maratha done. Now they are moving towards the North India. That is Punjab. That is Punjab. In Punjab was under the control of the Sikh Empire. Okay, in Punjab, Sikh Empire was there. Okay, but these Britishers they want to capture the Punjab region. They want to capture the Punjab region. Why Punjab region? Northern plain, the part of the northern plain. Okay, and the Indus basin. Okay, then so imagine in ancient and medieval India, majority of the foreign attacks took place in this region. Yes or not? Remember post-Mauryan period? Indo-Greeks, Shakas, Kushanas. Alexander was also arrived through this route. Yes or no? Hence, they want to resist the foreign attacks in India. Hence, now they are focusing on the Punjab region. And there was a Sikh empire in Punjab. And the battle between Britishers and the Sikh empire, the series of the battle between Britishers and the Sikh empire was known as the Anglo-Sikh Wars. Anglo-Sikh Wars. Clear? Anglo-Sikh Wars. Just to go through it. Here, the conquest of the Punjab, first Anglo-Sikh War, second Anglo-Sikh War. Just to go through the treaty. Okay. Okay, done. See now Britishers. Okay, at the end of the 18th century, they captured the 60 to 70% of the Indian provinces. First, they captured Bengal, later Mysore, later Maratha, later Punjab. During that time, these were the very big provinces for them. Hence, they captured through the wars. And later, they captured various small provinces such as Awadh, okay, Jhansi, okay, Kanpur, Lucknow. These kind of small provinces through their policies like subsidiary alliance, like doctrine of lapse. Clear? This is how they captured the entire India under their control. Clear? Now we will deal with the policies of the Britishers. First, that is subsidiary alliance. Subsidiary alliance. What is the subsidiary alliance? These are the features of the subsidiary alliance. Just go through it. Okay, who introduced the subsidiary alliance? That is Wellesley in the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War. Okay, Wellesley was introduced the subsidiary alliance, and these are the characteristics of the subsidiary alliance. See, first provision: Indian ruler accept the British force in his territory. Okay, so imagine if any Indian territory, if any Indian provinces join up to subsidiary alliance, it is their duty to follow all these provisions. Clear? If imagine the imposing subsidiary alliance on the Hyderabad, it is the duty of the Hyderabad to follow all these rules. Clear? So Indian ruler accept the British force in his territory. Means, example, Hyderabad should accept the British army in his court. Clear? Next, he also pay for British army maintenance. He also pay for the revenue maintenance. Okay. Next, in return, British protect the king. See, imagine if Hyderabad entering the subsidiary alliance. Okay, Hyderabad will be protected by the whom? Britishers. Clear? Next, Indian state could not enter any foreign alliance. If Hyderabad joining the subsidiary alliance, Hyderabad could not join any foreign alliance. Why this provision? Because during that time there were Portuguese as well as the French in India, especially French. Hope you got it. So this is why. Next, also not employ others than Englishmen. Also not employ others than Englishmen. British resident stationed in King Court. Okay, and Hyderabad was the first Indian provinces which was entered in subsidiary alliance. They can ask you the question, which of the following was the first provinces in India which enters subsidiary alliance? That is Hyderabad. Okay, later Mysuru. Why Mysuru? After the battle of Fourth Anglo-Mysore War. Okay, they imposed subsidiary alliance over the Mysuru and Tanjore, then Awadh in 1801 and Maratha in 1802. After the Anglo-Maratha Wars, they imposed subsidiary alliance over the Maratha Empire. Clear? This is what the policies of the Britishers. Okay. Done. Okay. Who introduced the subsidiary alliance? Don't call them as a Lord Wellesley. Lord. They were not a lord. Well, let's see. Okay. We usually refer to Lord Mahavira, Lord Buddha, Lord Shiva. Your Lord Allah. Okay. Lord Allah means what? God Allah. God Allah. Lord means what? God. Your God. They were exploitators. They were dictators. Then this is about the subsidiary alliance. Then doctrine of lapse. Doctrine of lapse. It was introduced by the Dalhousie. Okay. What is the provision of the doctrine of lapse? Adopted son could be hired to his foster father's private property, but not the state. See, imagine, see, if there was an empire called Jhansi. Why Jhansi? Will tell you. Jhansi ಹೋಗೋದು ಬೇಡ. Jhansi ತುಂಬಾ ದೂರ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. Okay, Jhansi. For you, Jhansi. Okay, for us, Kitturu. Okay, Jhansi. If a king of the Jhansi, okay, he did not have any natural successor, means natural son, biological son. Okay, then he may adopt the son, he may adopt the successor, but after the death of father, adopted son could not become a king of that particular provinces. Adopted son will not be eligible to become a king of that particular provinces. Hope you got it. So adopted son could be hired to his foster father's private property, but not a state, not a kingdom, not a provinces. Clear? So through this policy, British, they annexed these states. First was Satara, Jhansi. Why Jhansi and Nagpur? We'll tell you in 1857 battle. Don't worry. Then Jaipur, Sambalpur, and the Bhagat. These were the provinces captured or annexed through the policy called Doctrine of Lapse. Doctrine of Lapse was introduced by the Dalhousie. Two important policies. One is subsidiary alliance. Okay, subsidiary alliance was introduced by Wellesley, and doctrine of lapse was introduced by the Dalhousie. Clear? Hope you got it. Okay. Which was the first Indian provinces entered to subsidiary alliance? Hyderabad in 1798. In which year Mysuru entered a subsidiary alliance? 1799, after the war of Fourth Anglo-Mysore War. Done? Quick, bega. We'll show you, don't worry. Next. See, now before we are going to discuss about the first war of Indian independence, okay, before 1857, there were various tribal revolts, okay, civilian rebellions against the Britishers. Just go through it, kind of a Sannyasi revolt, Poligar revolt, okay, Ramosi revolt, Kuka movement, Santal rebellion. I have given you here, okay, just follow it, okay. Revolt and associated leaders. Okay, so now we will begin with the first war of Indian independence. The first war of Indian independence. Here is there any doubt till now? Is there any doubt till now? No? Done? Okay, now we will begin with the first war of Indian independence, 1857. Okay, see, this was also known as a Sipahi mutiny. Okay, in which year the Battle of the Plaza was took place? Which year? 1757 till 1857, 100 years. Okay, 100-year ruled by East India Company of the Britishers. Okay, so during this time, they introduced a lot of policies, lot of measures, lot of rules and regulations. Okay, they exploited as much as possible, such as subsidiary alliance, doctrine of lapse, various land revenue policies. Okay, these kind of things. Okay, now the people. Okay, now they started. Okay, they decided to rebel against the exploitation of the Britishers. Okay, and ultimately this is known as a first war of Indian independence. Clear? Now we'll deal with the reasons for the first war of Indian independence. First one, their economic causes. Their economic causes. See, economic causes means they introduced Jamindari system, they introduced Rayatwari system, they introduced Mahalwari system. What is the Zamindari system? First one. One second. Now, now, see, Zamindari system was introduced by the Cornwallis. Zamindari system was introduced by the, just you can note it down. It was not in your PPT. Zamindari system was introduced by the Cornwallis in 1793. See, then what was the provision of the Zamindari system? Here, imagine, listen here carefully. See, peasants, then Zamindars, then British. Peasants, Zamindar, and the British. Okay, now British, they want a land revenue. They want land revenue. They decided to collect the land revenue from the peasants. They want land revenue from the peasants. But there was a mediators between between East India Company as well as the Indian farmers or Indian peasants. Okay, the responsibility of these zamindars is to collect the land revenue from the peasants, and ultimately these zamindars were responsible to the whom? Britishers. Okay, these zamindars were responsible to whom? Britishers. Okay, the zamindars were acted as a mediator between peasants as well as the Britishers. Okay, so now Britishers, they are collecting their land revenue from the peasants through zamindars. Okay, hope you got it. So, and in this policy, the land revenue was fixed. In zamindari system, land revenue was fixed. Imagine the land revenue was fixed as a 100 rupee. Okay, imagine if zamindar collected 150 rupee as a land revenue from the peasants. Okay, so now zamindars were responsible to pay the 100 rupee. Okay, remaining 50%, remaining 50 rupee profit to the zamindars. Hope you got it. So here the land revenue was fixed, hence this is known as a permanent settlement system. Permanent settlement system. And there was a provision called sunset law. What is the sunset law? Sunset law associated with the zamindari system. Before sunset, zamindar should pay the land revenue to the British government. If they fail to pay the land revenue to the British government, okay, before sunset, they will lose their zamindari. Clear? This was a question in previously in IB exam. Sunset law associated with which of the following revenue system? That is zamindari system. Okay, and this was introduced in Bengal region. Clear? So this is zamindari system. Now come to the Rayatwari system. Rayatwari system. Now, Rayatwari system was introduced by Thomas Munro. Thomas Munro and Alexander Reed. Alexander Reed. Okay, so the Rayatwari system here, peasants, British. See, in the Rayatwari system, it was introduced in Madras region. Here, the British government or East India Company, they directly collect the land revenue from the peasants. In Zamindari system, there were mediators. Called Zamindars. But in the Rayatwari system, there was no provision of the mediators. Because in Zamindari system, these Zamindars became very powerful than the Britishers. Okay, now they abolished this provision and they introduced the Rayatwari system, in which British government directly collect the land revenue from the peasants. There was no provision of the mediators. Clear? This is how Rayatwari system. Next, Mahalwari system. Mahalwari system was introduced by the Mackenzie. Mahalwari system was introduced by the Mackenzie. Clear? This was introduced in Assam, Odisha region. Okay. See, now in Mahalwari system, there was also a mediators. Okay, see, Mahal means what? What is the meaning of Mahal? Mahal means the group of villages. Mahal means what? Group of villages. Mahal consists of 2 to 3 villages. And according to Mahalwari system, okay, here the village headmen were responsible to collect the land revenue from the peasants, and ultimately these village headmen were responsible to the British government. Okay, see, village headmen, they will collect the land revenue from the peasants, and these village headmen will pay the land revenue to the Britishers. Here again mediators. Village headmen acted as a mediator between Zamindars, British as well as the peasant. Same like in Zamindari system. In Zamindari system, these Zamindars acted as a mediator. Okay. In Rayatwari system, there was no mediator, but in Mahalwari system, there is again they introduced the mediator system. But here, who was the mediator? Village headmen. Village headmen were responsible to collect the land revenue from the village people. Clear? Hope you got it. So these are the important revenue policies of the British government, and the major objective of this policy is to collect, to earn as much as possible revenue and to exploit as much as possible. Okay, hope you got it. So this is how it will work. Ultimately, people, they rebelled against the British government because of these kind of economic policies, and according to these policies, there was no exemption during the time of famine, flood like situation. Clear? Hope you got it. So COVID time tax hakidra. During the COVID time, Indian government tax hakta. Government provide ಮಾಡ್ತು, food grains provide ಮಾಡ್ತು, ಬೇರೆ health facilities provide ಮಾಡ್ತು. But ಇವರು ಫ್ಲಡ್ ಫಮೈನ್ ಬಂದ್ರು ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಸುಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಹೊಡಿತಾ ಇರೋದು. Hope you got it. So this is how it will work. Now, so this is what major economic reasons for the first battle of Indian independence. Okay, zamindaris and landlords become a very powerful. Okay, ultimately it will lead to ruin of agriculture, industries, and the handicrafts. Okay, so this is how economic reasons for the first war of Indian independence. Next, political reason. Political reasons means I already told you subsidiary alliance. Who introduced the subsidiary alliance? Hmm? Who introduced the subsidiary alliance? Wellesley. Okay. So which was the first Indian provinces entered to subsidiary alliance? Hyderabad. Hope you got it. So through these policies, they suppress the Indian provinces. They suppress the Indian kings. Hence, even though kings was also rebelled against the Britishers. Clear? Political causes. Next, administrative causes. Okay. Huge corruption, misuse of the trade license, misuse of the dust tax. I told you in the Battle of the Plassey, in the Battle of the Buxar. Okay. So exploitations by the British officials. Next, socio-religious causes. We will tell you in the socio-religious reform movement. Separately, it was chapter is there. Next, discontent among the sepoys. Very important reason for the first war of Indian independence. See. Imagine this is a British government. They introduced a Enfield rifles. British government, they introduced a Enfield rifle. And the layer of this Enfield rifle, second, and the outer layer of this Enfield rifle, okay, made with the fat of the cows as well as the pig. Okay, cow as well as the pig. The Indian soldiers in the British, both Hindus and Muslims were acted as a soldiers under the British. Okay, these Indian soldiers, they refused to use this Enfield rifle. They refused to use this Enfield rifle because it will threat for their religious identity. Clear? Introduction of the Enfield rifle. Then, in 1856, William Bentinck introduced a act called General Service Enlistment Act. General Service Enlistment Act. According to this act, okay, the Indian soldiers should work wherever the British government will appoint them. The Indian soldiers should work wherever British government will appoint them. According to Indians, okay, if they cross the ocean, they will lose their caste identity. According to Indians, if they cross the ocean, they will lose their caste identity. Okay, hence the Indian soldiers, they refused to work anywhere in the world and they opposed this act, that is General Service Enlistment Act, and they refused to use the Enfield rifles. Okay, these are the two important reasons will lead to discontent among the Indian soldiers. Clear? And under the British rule, Indian soldiers were treated very inhuman nature, like such as low promotions, okay, low salary, low privileges. For British soldiers, pizza burger. For Indian soldiers, roti rice. Okay, this is how they discriminated the Indian soldiers over the British soldiers. Hope you got it. So these are the major reasons which will lead to discontent among the Sipais. Clear? Done? So, now these are the reasons. Hope you understand the reasons for the first war of Indian independence. Economic reasons, I told you economic policies. Next, administrative reasons, political reasons. Next, socio-religious reasons. Next, discontent among the Sepoys. Clear? Now the course of the rebellion. See, the war was started on 10th May 1857 at Meerut. 10th May 1857 at Meerut. See, there was a person called Mangal Pandey. He was an Indian soldier in Barakpur, that is in West Bengal. Indian soldier in Barakpur. Okay, the battalion of the Indian soldiers, they refused to use the Enfield rifles. But British, they made it mandatory. mandatory, and hence the one of the Indian soldier, Mangal Pandey, okay, he killed the British official. He killed the British official, and ultimately British, they captured the Mangal Pandey and they hanged the Mangal Pandey. Okay, this will lead to spark among the Indian soldiers. In Meerut also, okay, the same Indian soldiers refused to use Enfield rifles, okay, but British made it mandatory, hence Indian soldiers rebelled against the Britishers. Okay, 10th May 1857, okay, so it was started in Meerut, ultimately they reached to Delhi. See now. See, this is a Meerut. This is a Meerut. 10th May 1857, the battle was started in Meerut. Okay, after Meerut, ultimately, these soldiers, the group of Indian soldiers, they reached to Delhi. They reached to Delhi. In Delhi, there was a last Mughal ruler, Bahadur Shah. In Delhi, there was a last Mughal ruler, was Bahadur Shah. Clear? And the group of Indian soldiers, they proclaimed Bahadur Shah as a symbolic king of 1857 revolt. Okay, as a symbolic king of 1850. Bahadur Shah was ultimately 80 years old. Okay, old age, very old man. Okay, the Indian soldiers, they proclaimed Bahadur Shah as a symbolic king of 1857 revolt and the symbolic king of the India. Okay, so after this proclamation, Bahadur Shah wrote a letters to the surrounding provinces, such as here Kanpur, okay, here Kanpur, Gwalior, okay, Jhansi, Lucknow, okay, these provinces. He wrote a letter to these provinces, and ultimately these provincial kingdoms supported the first war of Indian independence. Clear? Hope you got it. So now. Okay, so sparked among the Indian soldiers, killed the European officer. Delhi became a center of the revolt. Bahadur Shah, symbolic king of the India. In this battle, both civilians, zamindars, labor, women were participated in the first war of Indian independence. Okay, so these are the important centers like Meerut, Delhi, Bareilly, Gwalior, Agra, Kanpur, Lucknow. Okay. Next, the centers and the leaders of the revolt. This is not from Bareilly, from Delhi. Delhi, General Bakhtar Khan in Bareilly. Note it down. Khan Bahadur. Khan Bahadur. Khan Bahadur. In Bareilly, Khan Bahadur. Khan Bahadur. They can ask you the match the following questions. Leaders as well as done. Done. Next. Why the revolt failed? Okay. initial during in the initial period it was succeeded, but later it was failed because of the poor arms equipments. British used Enfield rifles. We used elephant, cavalry, okay, soldiers, like next uncoordinated, okay, like no unified ideology, no strong ideology like Indian independence. They only fought for their regional identities. Next, all India participation was observed. See, majority of the centers were concentrated in North India. So look here, there was no the major centers in South India. Hope you got it. Next, lack of the leadership. Okay, there was no strong leaders. Bahadur Shah was a old age man. Okay, he can't do anything. Okay, that's why it was failed. Then the outcome of the revolt, the after the first war of Indian independence, British government they introduced the or they enacted the Indian Government of India Act. It was also known as a Good Governance Act, and it was also known as a Queen's Proclamation. It was also known as a Queen's Proclamation. According to this act, from now onwards, from 1858 onwards, okay, this act ended the administrative matters of this act ended the rule, the administration of the East India Company. From now onwards, who was the responsible to the administration in India? Britain Crown, Britain Queen. Clear? ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿತ್ತು, ಈಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಕಂಪನಿ ರೂಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಅದು ಎಂಡ್. ಇನ್ಮೇಲಿಂದ ಯಾರು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ? ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಕ್ರೌನ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೋತಾರೆ. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಸೊ ಕ್ವೀನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಕ್ಲಮೇಶನ್, ಫ್ರೀಡಮ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಲಿಜನ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ಸ್, ended the British expansion policy. Okay, and according through this act, they created a position called Secretary of State for India. Secretary of State for India acted as a representative of the British Queen in India. Clear? Then they renamed Governor General of India as a Viceroy of India, and the first Viceroy was Canning. First Viceroy was Canning. See, first Governor of Bengal, Robert Clive. First Governor General of Bengal, Warren Hastings. First Governor General of India, William Bentinck. First Viceroy of India, Canning. If you want, you can note it down. First Governor of Bengal, Robert Clive. Remember the Robert Clive introduced the dual government in Bengal after the Treaty of Allahabad in 1765. First Governor of Bengal, Robert Clive. Next, first Governor General of Bengal, Warren Hastings. Warren Hastings. Warren Hastings. Then, first Governor General of India, William Bentinck. William Bentinck. Next, first Viceroy of India, Canning. Your assignment is to find who was the first Secretary of State for India. First, they created a position called Secretary of State for India. Yes or not? Now, it's your duty is to find who was the first Secretary of State for India. Done. Done. Hmm? Done? No. See, there was a topic called socio-religious reform movement. Listen here. Why socio-religious reform movement is important? What are the reasons behind the socio-religious reform movement? Huh? Hmm. Reforming means what? What is a reform? Changing, reviving, changing, reviving. Hmm. Hmm. When there is a loopholes, to correct the loopholes. Okay, then what are the loopholes? Okay, then
There would be like old things. We have to adapt the modernity living.
hmm.
It's superstition,
No.
cooperation.
Okay. What are the loopholes? Loopholes of the Indian society. Casteism, then religious beliefs, then
Superstition.
superstitions, then caste system, polygamy, untouchability, okay, child marriages, sati system, idol worship, parda system. Okay, so these are the major loopholes in the Indian society, and these loopholes was became very prevalent in the 18th century, 18th and 19th century. Hence, there was a need for the socio-religious reform movement. There were various societies, various personalities. They tries to reform the society and the religion. Okay, see, socio-religious reform movement, socio-religious reform movement classified into two types. One is reformist movement. Reformist movement. Then note it down. Revivalist movement. Revivalist movement. See, reformist movement. Okay, what are the reformist movement? See, reformist movement means, listen here first. Reformist movement. Reformist movement means reforming already existing system. Reforming already existing system. ಏನಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನೇ ರಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. Hope you got it. Reforming already existing system, such as under the reformist movement, such as Brahmo Samaj, next Prarthana Samaj, then Aligarh movement, then Theosophical Society. These are the reformist movement. Okay, then this was a question, just note it down, that's why I'm telling you. Then revivalist movement means what? Reviving or reinstalling the old system, or abolishing the present system and re-establishing the new system. Hope you got it. So revivalist movement, first one is Arya Samaj. As see, Arya Samaj was established by the Dayananda Saraswati. Okay, and he gave a famous statement, back to Vedas. According to Arya Samaj, Vedas are the primary source of knowledge. Clear? Then Deoband movement, this was the movement in Bengal. Okay, this was the movement in Bengal. Then Ramakrishna mission. Ramakrishna mission was established by whom? Swami Vivekananda. Okay, they propagated Vedanta school. Theosophical Society. Brahma Samaj, Prarthana Samaj, Aligarh Movement, Theosophical Society, then Arya Samaj, Deoband Movement, then Ramakrishna Mission. Done? Okay. So now, so these are, see, they won't ask you the too much questions. They can ask you the founders and the Samaj. Okay. So don't worry about it. Just go through the notes, whatever I have provided you. Okay. So Brahmo Samaj was established by Raja Ram Mohan Rai in 1828. Arya Samaj by the Ananda Saraswati and his work and this famous statement that is back to Vedas. According to Vedas are the primary source of knowledge. Then Prarthana Samaj by Atmaram Panduranga. Okay, so interdining, intercaste marriages. Okay, they promoted interdining and the intercaste marriages. Then Ramakrishna Mission in Calcutta, 1897. Here, SNDP Shri Narayana Guru Dharma Paripalana movement. This was movement in Kerala. Okay, this was also the movement against the caste system. Then self-respect movement. This was movement prevalent in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so E.V. Ramaswamy Raikar are the Periyar, and their main ideology there is to promotion of Dravida identity. Dravida identity. Just go through it. Don't worry about it. So just go through it. Next to, so we'll take a break. Okay, 10 minutes break. After break, we'll continue from the 1900. Now this portion, whatever after break 1900 to 1947 was very very important. Okay, hope you got it. Now take a break. is how they used the opportunity, because extremist was detained the Congress under the control of the British, sorry, moderates. Hope you got it. This is how they suppressed the national movement. Till now it is clear. Deliver clear आयता. Clear आयता. Now, take a 5 minutes time. Revise from the beginning. Revise quickly. If you have any doubt, you can ask me.
So, Marley,
Morley was Secretary of State for India. Minto was the Viceroy of India during that time. Okay, that's why this act known as a Morley-Minto reform. That's why Indian Council Act known as a Morley-Minto reform. One second. Moderate phase was completed. Extremist phase was completed. Okay, now revolutionary phase. Okay, so see what was the ideologies of the revolutionaries? To end the Western imperialism. The name itself indicating that revolutionaries. Okay, so end the Western imperialism. Okay, and their violence was their main ideology. Violence means guns and bombs, self-sacrifice. Okay, uh, then complete independence, socialism. What is the meaning of socialism? What is the meaning of socialism? Government? Involvement of the government. Okay, then. ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಪಾಲಿಟಿ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟೆಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯು ಪಾಲಿಟಿ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ ಆಗಿದೆ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಆಗಿದೆ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ ಹಾ ದೇರ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ಟರ್ಮ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಸೋಷಿಯಲಿಸಮ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪ್ರಿಯಾಂಬಲ್ ಓಕೆ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೋಷಿಯಲಿಸಮ್ ಹ್ಮ್ ಹ್ಮ್ equally order equally okay then see socialism is what creating a equal society okay and providing equal opportunities to the all irrespective of their caste their creed their sex their religion their language their anything hope you got it so creating an equal society in general so India adopted a democratic socialism we didn't adopted a Marxist socialism we adopted a democratic socialism hope you got it so that is what socialism was the main ideology of the revolutionaries especially Bhagat Singh and their another important ideology was that self-sacrifice these revolutionaries they didn't worried about their lives until their last breath okay they would fought for their motherland hope you got it so that is what so now important reasons for their emergence reasons for the emergence of the that is revolutionaries one is secret societies like Anushilan Samiti and the Abhinav Bharat these secret societies they recruited various Indian youths and they provided the revolutionary training to the Indian youths clear then inspiration these revolutionaries they got inspiration from the Irish Republican Army and the nihilist of Russia these were the revolutionary groups okay and they took inspiration from these groups then situation what kind of situation see after Swadeshi movement the Bal Gangadhar Tilak was arrested I have told you he was sent to the Mandalaya jail okay yes or not so Bal Gangadhar Tilak was arrested now there was no strong leadership in India okay moderates they were not a strong leaders they were only satisfied with the constitutional reforms Congress was under the control of the moderates okay hence these youths they took inspiration from this incident and they did revolutionary activities then failure of the moderate politics okay these are the some reasons behind the emergence of the revolutionary movement now we'll deal with the various incidents first one Nasik conspiracy case 1909 in Nasik conspiracy case the assassination of the district magistrate that is Jackson also known as a Pandit Jackson he was assassinated by Ananta Lakshmana Kaneri ultimately he was also hanged okay Ananta Lakshmana Kaneri then Delhi conspiracy case target was Viceroy Hardinge previously the capital was Calcutta the British capital was Calcutta. In 1911, they decided to shift the capital from Calcutta to Delhi. During this time, transferring the capital from Calcutta to Delhi, they targeted these revolutionaries targeted the Viceroy Hardinge J. Okay, during the transfer of capital from Calcutta to Delhi by Raj Bihari Ghosh and Sachindra Sanyal. Next, Firoz Shah Kotla meeting. Firoz Shah Kotla meeting was organized by the Bhagat Singh. Okay, it was organized by the Bhagat Singh and other revolutionaries, Sukadev, Bhagavati Charan Vohra. These people were also participated in the Firoz Shah Kotla. Firoz Shah Kotla is in Delhi. Clear? Next. Assembly bomb case, very important. Meerut conspiracy case. It was also known as a Meerut conspiracy case. See, against public safety and trade dispute bill. See, British government introduced. They were going to introduce two important bills. One is public safety bill. Another one is trade dispute bill. Public safety bill and trade dispute bill. Through these acts, the British government, they want to suppress the national movement in India, and through these acts, they imposed a lot of restriction on the rights of the Indians. Hence, the revolutionaries, they decided to prohibiting the passing of these bills. This is the first bill. After it passed in Legislative Assembly, it is known as an act. Yes or not? So now they decided to prohibition. They decided to prohibit the passing of these two bills. Hence, both Bhagat Singh as well as the Batukeshwar Dutt, they decided to bomb in the Legislative Assembly, Central Legislative Assembly. Bhagat Singh and Batukeshwar Dutt bombed assembly without any see, their intention was to prohibit, to resist the viceroy, okay, and to passing these kind of bill. Okay, their intention was not to killing any British official or hurting anyone. Their intention was to resisting the viceroy. Clear? Next. But under this case, okay, both Bhagat Singh, Sukadev and Rajguru were hanged. Okay, under this case. That is 23rd of March. Clear? 1931. Hope I got it? Clear? So this is about the revolutionaries. Next, Home Rule League movement. See, (1907) Surat split. Okay, till 1907 to 1914, the national movement was in passive stage. There was no strong leadership in the national movement. Okay, so but revolutionaries, they are doing their revolutionary activities, okay, in a different area. But during this period, Congress was under the control of the whom? Moderates. Okay, you know very well regarding the moderates. Okay, they did not believe in the militant kind of nationalism. They did not believe in the mass politics. Hence, in this phase, the national movement was in passive state. But in 1914, Bal Gangadhar Tilak was released from jail. In 1914, Bal Gangadhar Tilak was released. Earlier, he was detained during the time of Swadeshi movement. After the Surat split, now in 1914, Bal Gangadhar Tilak was released. Again, Bal Gangadhar Tilak want to launch a mass movement against the Britishers. He want to launch a mass movement against the Britishers, and this is now a Home Rule League movement. And two important leaders. So the reasons: divide and rule policy of the Britishers, separate electorate. Remember 1909, Indian Council Act 1909. They provided separate electorate to the Muslims. Then to achieve the Swaraj, okay. Then build a wartime pressure on the Britishers. See, in 1914 to 1918, the time of First World War, it was First World. Britishers were in war. Okay, so Bal Gangadhar Tilak thinks that it is the right time to build a pressure on the. It is the right time to attack on the Britishers, because Britishers was already in the First World War. Okay, if we launch the movement in India, it will become a huge threat for the Britishers. Okay, hence they decided to launch a Home Rule League movement. Okay, presence of the leaders like Tilak and the Annie Besant. Tilak and the Annie Besant. Now, two important leaders of the uh, home ruling movement. One is Bal Gangadhar Tilak, another one is Annie Besant. See, Annie Besant arrived to India as a member of the Theosophical Society. Theosophical Society was established in USA. Okay, it is your assignment to who was the founders of the Theosophical Society. Okay, and their main intention was the main objective of the Theosophical Society is to study the Indian inscriptions, Indian culture, Indian tradition. Hope you got it. So that is what. See, now listen here. Home rule league movement was started in 1940s, in 1914 to 1916. Okay, see, this is a Bombay provinces. This is a Madras provinces. Okay, listen here first, carefully. If you want, you can note it down. First, listen here. See, in Bombay provinces, okay, Bal Gangadhar Tilak started his version of Home Rule League movement in April 1916 from Belgaum. Belgaum, Karnataka, previously part of the Bombay provinces. Okay, the Bal Gangadhar Tilak started his version of HRL, his version of Home Rule League movement in April 1916 from Belgaum. Okay, as a okay, Kharpade as his organizing secretary. Kharpade was the organizing secretary of the Tilak version of the Home Rule League movement. Okay, Kharpade. Then this is done. Next, here in the Madras provinces, Annie Besant started her version of HRL in September 1916. As a organizing secretary was George Arundale. Organizing secretary was George Arundale. Organizing secretary was George Arundale. And during that time in Madras provinces, S. Subramanya Iyer was a very, very prominent leader. He supported the her version of HRL. Hence, S. Subramanya Iyer now the Grand Old Man of South India. Hence, S. Subramanya Iyer known as a Grand Old Man of South India. Who was the Grand Old Man of India? Dadabhai Nauroji. Grand Old Man of South India? Yes, Subramanya Iyer. Hope you got it. So this is what the Home Rule League movement. If you want, you can note it down this. Done. Done. Clear? No. So this is about the Home Rule League movement. See, after Home Rule League movement, now Annie Besant, okay, she tries to negotiate between the moderate as well as the extremist. She tries to negotiate between the moderates as well as the extremists. In Surah split, okay, they split it because of the ideological differences. Now Congress was under the control of the moderates. Okay, before Annie Besant, majority people tried to negotiate between the moderate and the extremists, but these people they didn't united. Now after negotiation by the Annie Besant, they decided to unite together. Foreign lady, hope you got it. So this unity, this unification between the moderate as well as the extremist, known as a Lucknow Pact. Lucknow Pact, 1916, December 1916. See, in December 1916, the Congress session was held in Lucknow, and this session was headed by A.C. Majumdar, Ambika Charan Majumdar. So, this Lucknow Pact led to the agreement between moderate and extremist, moderates and extremist, moderate and extremist, then INC and Muslim League, Then in this Lucknow Pact, the Congress accepted separate electorate. The Congress accepted separate electorate. Clear? The Congress accepted the separate electorate. Done? Clear? Hope you got it. So, this is what about the Lucknow Pact. Who was the chairman of, who was the president of the Congress during the time of Surah split? Feature of the Home Rule League movement, it was there. Okay. Lucknow Pact. The president of the Congress during the time of Surah split. Raj Bihari Ghosh. And during the time of Lucknow Pact, A.C. Majumdar or Ambika Charan Majumdar. Done? Majumdar. Done? See, why the Home Rule League movement was ended? Home Rule League movement was ended. See, the lack of strong organizational support. See, Congress didn't supported the Home Rule League movement. INC didn't supported the Home Rule League movement. Why? INC was controlled by moderates. Hope you got it. So, Home Rule League movement was led by extremists, especially Balagangadhar Tilak. Okay, then IMC Muslim League Pact, Tilak arrested in a defamation case. So, during the time of Home Rule League movement, there was a British journalist called Valentino Chirol. He wrote a book called Indian Unrest. In that particular book, he referred Balagangadhar Tilak as a father of Indian unrest. Hence, the Tilak, he went to England and he filed a defamation case against the that particular person, Valentino Chirol. Tilak thought that I am fighting here for my people, but this guy referring me as a father of Indian unrest. Yes or not? So hence he went out of India and he reached to England. And Annie Besant changed her stand. Okay, after the Lucknow Pact, okay, she changed her stand. Okay, so these are the factors will lead to the end of Home Rule League movement. Okay, so now take a 5 minutes time, revise from the beginning. Okay, if you have any doubt, you can ask me. Quick, revise. Done? 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 Hmm? Here is there any doubt? No doubt? Yeah, no doubt, Ilva? Okay, now. So till now we have covered the first war of Indian independence, then the extremist phase, moderate phase, revolutionary, as well as the role of the Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Okay, now we shall stop here. We'll continue from the tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the Gandhian era. Okay, it will take 1 hour, 1.5 hours, and the Government of India Act 1990. So within break we will complete entire national movement. Okay, so then directly last 1 hour is enough to cover your current affairs. Okay, there are very small, a little less topics are there. Okay, tomorrow we will complete your history portion. Hope you got it. From my side, I will do my level best. Okay, I will provide you everything to clear your exam. From your side, you should revise it and should follow the PYQs, should follow the MCQs. Okay, it is your duty. Hope you got it. Clear? Is there any doubt? No doubt? No? We shall stop here. Clear? Thank you.